Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
Thank you so much. I am so sorry. I am now on my coworker's computer, Erica, and I'm sorry for that confusion. If you're able to turn your phone sideways, we'll do it like that for the TV.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, Miss Kelly, tell me about your travels. What were you up to, and why were you out using Southwest?
So, my mom and my brother, we actually had planned a trip. My brother is actually a coach for the United States Air Force Academy. So they had a bowl game on that Thursday. We left Atlanta that Friday, um, the 16th of December, just headed out a couple of days before the game because the game was the following Thursday. So on that Friday, we wanted to go ahead and get to the airport early and, just be able to relax, eat a little bit. So we did that, and then we received a text message. Well, I did. I received a text message saying that our flight had been delayed, and it was maybe 30 minutes. So we were like, okay, no problem, cool. So we just kind of people watched and um, enjoyed our meal, things like that. And then we received another text message saying that the flight had been delayed once again. We were like, okay, now. And at this point, it's getting later because we had a 6:45 flight, which was, pretty much evening, nighttime. So that would put us getting into Dallas a little later as well because we had to pick up my brother from DFW because he was flying in from LA. So, it just kind of put us in a bind somewhat. But he was flying Delta, so we were like, well, maybe he'll get there and it'll all work out. So just fast forward a little bit. Everything did pretty much work out. The flight was a full flight, no problems. It was like an hour and 30 minutes, cool beans, no issues. So on the return home, it had got really cold in Dallas, and that's all they were saying on the news. There was, the weather delays. There were a lot of flights being canceled, and I think Southwest has maybe a hub that's in Dallas, or that's their headquarters, or something like that. So we knew that going into Dallas Love Field, that was an airport that was mostly, and I think it's only Southwest. So when we got in there, or maybe one or two flights come in there from Delta or another, but the majority of the flights are Southwest, I think. So, we got dropped off at the airport because my brother was driving back to Georgia. So we're like, okay, we get there early. As soon as we walked into the airport, they were like, all these announcements going off and saying, there were a lot of delayed flights. Make sure you check the monitors and make sure your flight is not delayed, it's not canceled. So we were just checking. We hadn't received anything because before, remember, I told you I got the text message. So I'm like, maybe it's not affecting us. So long story short, we, keep going. We took pictures by the Christmas trees in there, just enjoying our time because my mom likes to go early, so we don't have to rush, don't have to run, and we could just enjoy the people. So as soon as we sat down, they were like, if you're flying Southwest Flight 3497 to Atlanta, please make sure you check the monitors. Again, we hadn't received any type of text message, but it was like, we'll just check the monitors. So we checked the monitors and they said that it was maybe like a 10 or 15-minute delay. So I'm like, that's cool, no problem. So we grabbed something to eat. We sat at our gate just like everybody else. And then and it was full. I mean, it was packed because it was the 23rd of December. So, of course it was a lot of people, but you could tell that there was a lot of chaos, but it was organized chaos. I will say that. It wasn't like people were running all over the place, but it was just a lot of people. But I just attributed that to it being the holidays. It was, the day before Christmas Eve. So that's what I'm thinking. Um, but then when I kind of looked around, they were like, we just want to make this announcement that the plane that you all see landing is to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So the people that were supposed to get on that plane, they all cheered. Like the airport erupted into cheers because they had been there a while waiting on their flight. So they were like, and if you all are waiting on that airplane to Atlanta, it's coming, it's coming. So again, they just kept delaying it. Maybe after like 2 hours, they were like, you guys who are headed to Atlanta, the plane is here. We just don't have anywhere for it to it's landed, but we don't have anywhere for you all to board. So we were like, you don't have anywhere for us to board. So anyway, we were at like gate 1. They wanted us to go to gate 15. So they made an announcement for everybody that was headed to Atlanta to go to gate 15. So I mean, it seemed like it had to be, I don't know how many people are on the flight, but it had to be, like hundreds of people. We all getting our stuff headed to gate 15. So we get over there. Like I said, it was really organized. I will say that much, but it just was a lot going on. So we get over there, they allowed us to board. The flight crew was, they were very welcoming. The pilot, he was very apologetic. He was like, I'm gonna get y'all there. I'll get y'all there in an hour and 30 minutes. And my mom kind of made a joke. She was like, just get us there. It didn't have to be, fast. Just get us home.